It's Indulgenceiskey, and I'm coming to you today with a question. I want you to help me answer this question. I am going to provide some answers of my own to this question, but then you maybe you can add on to that particular or those answers or what have you. Okay, but anyway, let's get right into it. The question that I have is, why did your hair grow and retain its length when you were younger? Also, your hair grew while your mom or whomever used grease on it that contained mineral oil. How many of you all remember that blue magic grease? Okay, it did smell good sometimes, you know. Well, it did smell good, but I remember that grease having to get my scalp oil. And look, my aunt, whenever she did my hair, she always had some water beside her or whatever, you know, like a little cup of water or what have you. She would have the brush, you know, so whenever she's combed my hair or what have you, and what she would do would, you know, put the on my scalp, part it, start on one ponytail, and what she would do was dip the brush in the water and then, you know, go over your hair. I guess that was to give it a little bit of moisture or to soften it, and to help them, I guess, elongate the hair, you know, that they were gonna put into that particular ponytail. But you all, what made our hair grow? And well, not what made it grow, because we know that our hair is constantly, you know, it always grows. But what made us retain that length? Plus, our hair was pretty thick. You know what I'm saying? If this was you, if this is you that I'm describing, you know, whenever you were younger, you know, you had your ponytails, they were long, they were flowing, they were swinging, you had maybe barrettes on the ends or what have you, but you had some thick ponytails. You had some long ponytails. Now, the reason why I believe, you know what I'm saying, that your hair still grew. Wait a minute, I left one thing out. You know that a lot of naturals out there, not everybody, not saying you do this or what have you, but from what I've seen and what I have read, a lot of naturals steer clear of mineral oil. Now that, or petroleum, you know, that was the #1 ingredient that was in that grease, you know, blue magic, or that is in that grease, because I think they still sell it. And our moms and aunts and whoever else was, some uncles and dads, you know, comb hair too. So whoever combed your hair, they used that. And your hair was still shiny, your hair was shiny, and your hair was thick. And your hair continued to grow no matter, you know, how much mineral oil they put onto your scalp. Okay, well, I know that happened for me. All right, now, whenever we wanted to be grown and start to comb our own hair, you saw a big difference. I know I did. You know what I'm saying? My hair, it just wasn't the same, you know. It seemed to me to be stunted. Have you ever heard that term? Your hair growth is stunted, or your hair is stunted, you know, where your hair won't grow past a certain length or what have you. But anyway, I started to think that, because that's what I was being told, you know, what's wrong with your hair now? You know, it's just not growing right. But anyway, you know, we started combing our own hairs. And I don't think that we were probably taking or being gentle with it, you know, like our parents were or whatever. But anyway, now the reason why I think that our hair still grew regardless, you know, of if they use shampoos with sulfates in them. We really didn't do deep conditioning treatments, because if you could get that shampoo off the shelf over there that says shampoo and conditioning treatment, that was one less step that they really had to do. So they would get that particular product. I know I'm speaking from like my aunt, my mom, my sister, you know, or what have you. So many of you may have a similar story here. But anyway, I just wanted to know, why did your hair still retain its length and still remain thick, you know, after using mineral oil, after being brushed and brushed and brushed, after being, you know, pulled, after being just manipulated, you know, in certain styles. Because, you know, when we had our ponytails, you know, you always wanted them crisscross. You probably had one over here, one in the middle, and then one in the back. But anyway, the conclusion that I came up with is that, you know, our ends stayed protected, you know. And for me, that's what happened with me, with my mom and everybody, or whoever was combing it. They stayed protected, okay? I had a barrette on the end. If I did not have a barrette, you know, one of those little clip barrettes, remember it had like a teddy bear or a lion or something on it, and then, you know, it was a snap barrette. They put that on the ends, or whenever you had your ponytails, they would tuck them underneath. You know, like say, like for instance, if you had a ponytail and they plaited it up or twisted it up, once they finished, you know, it was tucked underneath. They probably put a bow or what have you on your hair or whatever. So your ends stay protected. All right. The end, you know, they moisturized it, and I'm gonna say moisturized because this is what my aunt and my mom, my sister, and whoever, you know, did my hair, they always put water on it. That was key too, you know what I'm saying? They always put water on it or what have you. And this was before I started getting my hair pressed anyway. But anyway, they would put water on it, brush it up, put, you know, a rubber band. Oh, we also used the regular rubber bands. Shucks, if you ran out of rubber bands, some people would go and get the rubber band that used to be around your newspaper. You know, y'all remember that. But anyway, they would get that rubber band and sometimes use it on your hair. Not very often, but if you ran out and that rubber band kept popping, the other rubber bands kept popping or whatever, they would utilize that one. Don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about. Okay. Now, anyway, whenever you went to sleep, your head was still protected. Because you know how I know? It's because all my mama's old stockings or whatever, you know, I had a stocking cap. And then whenever I went to sleep, she would put that stocking cap on my head. I would wake up the next morning, she would take it off, my hair would be all in place, intact, you know, pushed down. I might have a crease, depends on wherever that stocking cap stopped. If she didn't tuck my ponytails all the way under, whatever ponytail was caught right there in that elastic part of that stocking cap, you had a dent. You had a crease. And I also had one around my forehead too. But our hairs stayed protected. They stayed in place while you were asleep, you know, so your hair was pretty protected. Now, I'm just thinking it was the moisture. Even though they used the sulfates, you know, they still moisturized the hair with water. And then they protected it, you know, with the barrettes, you know, protect your ends, make sure they weren't flying all around or what have you. And then, you know, we would go to sleep. Well, I know I would go to sleep with my hair tied up, you know what I'm saying? And then I kept that style for a week. My mama would probably do my hair on Saturday night or something, getting ready for, you know, so I could be ready for church, you know, and then I probably would keep that style. I know I kept those styles sometimes the entire week. And then, you know, it would just stay because she would put that stocking cap on it at nighttime. So, you know, it was less manipulation. Like I said, we was keeping it in for about a week or so, and then, you know, they moisturized it and the hair stayed protected. Okay, now as far as the mineral oil goes, I don't even know. I don't even know why I still grew in spite of that. But anyway, just provide some little feedback on why you think that your hair or your cousin's hair or whoever, you know, their hair still grew despite using Blue Magic. You know, also, y'all remember that grease whenever you started to get your hair pressed? You remember that grease, Royal Crown? Not Crown Royal now. We're not talking about the alcohol, but it was that grease that was in that red can with that silver top, but it was opaque. You couldn't see through it. But my granny used to press her hair with that, and then my mama used to press mine with it. So anyway, just provide any feedback that you may have on why your hair still grew despite the use of, or still retained its length and was still thick, despite the use of mineral oils, despite the use of sulfate shampoos with the sulfates in them or whatever, and then you barely did even deep conditioning. So, you know, just chime in, weigh in, and I would like to know what you think. All right, there's no right or wrong answer or what have you, so just chime in and feel free to share your experiences. Thank you. Bye.